Feeling that this video might be a little bit bigger than the last video, but I could be wrong. This is my guy for Cloud in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So Cloud is the main character. He's a protagonist of this game, and because he's the protagonist, he's made like inordinately strong for like his I guess playstyle type. I would say that he's DPS. I would say him and Tifa both should be DPS, except he does a better job at it because he does more damage without having to buff himself, and he also has quite a bit of magic ability, as we discovered on, I think it was it Red 13 or Barrett's video, or Eris, I forget which one it was, but this dude has a lot of magic potential, a lot of energy in that area, and he has a lot of like physical strength. So let's go over Cloud, shall we? As you can see right here, one of his synergy skills is Range Blade, and you can use Range Blade with either Barrett or Red 13, and this is a really cool range skill, not range skill, synergy skill. Because it's one of the ones that is like more useful. There are some synergy skills that are like sort of like cherry picked for certain scenarios, or like, you know, you use them in certain situations, but Range Blade, you can really use this at any time. As you can see, you either hit Barrett's bullet or Red 13's howl towards the enemy, and you can even stand switch in the middle of it to keep it going. Like, it's a whole thing. I love Range Blade. You can use it in conjunction with Cloud's dodge, sword beams that he shoots. And as it says there, Howling Smash is it uses magic damage, and Bullet Batter uses physical. And they're both very fast. They're faster than Cloud's I don't know, blade beam slashes that he does when he dodges. Very useful. One of the best synergy skills in the game, if you ask me. And we have Melee Blade. Melee Blade is interesting because there's a physical and then there's a magic version of it. There's Power Cleave and then there's Spell Blade. So let me explain the difference. I think that Spell Blade is better because there are more enemies that are just like, you know, more vulnerable to magic. And not only that, but Spellblade actually has like a trail behind it. I believe Void Blade does as well, which is one you do with Sephiroth. But Power Cleave is a very strong physical attack. It's way stronger than, say, Braver is stronger than Blade Beam. It's very strong. They're both very strong. They're both stronger than anything Cloud can do on his own. Except Infinity's End. I'm thinking of Call of Duty for some reason. Infinity's End is stronger than Melee Blade, but this is something that you can access at any point as long as the other two characters aren't subdued, right? So Power Cleave you do with Tifa and Kate for some reason, and for Spellblade, you need Aerith or Yuffie. And I'll try and show both of them off. I'll try and show off Howling Smash and Bullet Batter too. What is the other thing he has? Counterfire. He can use Counterfire. This is only defensive technique. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it off today in this video, but it's a very interesting move. So I wish I could make this skill show up bigger, but basically you call in any one of your allies and you block a projectile, and not only do you block that projectile, but like you counter the projectile and you unleash, I think, the equivalent amount of damage, or like a good set amount of damage, and you have a barrier in front of you that takes care of any other oncoming attacks. Not oncoming attacks, oncoming projectiles. It's very clutch. It's useful in a lot of scenarios, especially when you're fighting the summons. Counterfire is a good synergy skill. Let me see, what else can I say before moving on? Really not much else. He's a Chad, you know, he does a lot of damage. He has a lot of damage enhancing moves, and we can take a look at his materia. No, it's combat settings next. I don't know why I keep messing this up. Excuse me one second. Turn this on. There we go. So let's take a look. Braver. We all know Braver. It was his limit level 1 first limit that he had in the OG and in remake, it's become quite a staple. So basically replacing Death Blow from the OG. But you strike a foe with a mighty swing of your sword, and you can use this in the air. I'm going to go ahead and skip down, right? So Blade Burst on Final Fantasy VII Remake, let me just read the description here. Unleash a wave of non-elemental Mako energy at the enemy in front of you with a slash of your sword. So the thing about Blade Burst in Final Fantasy VII Remake was I didn't see a real reason to keep Braver on, right? Because Braver is slightly faster in Remake as it is like, you know, on here. But Blade Burst does more damage. It does magic damage. It has range to it. But there's more of a reason to use it in Rebirth, Braver in Rebirth now, because you can use Braver in the air. In case you're in the air, you have a staggered opponent, or you have an opponent on the ground, you just want to smash them with Braver. You can't, like, it's faster. It's just more cohesive in a lot of scenarios. Like if you have a opponent that is staggered and you want to just go ahead and get rid of their ass, then you want to use Braver over Blade Burst. Blade Burst is good for disrupting enemies that are bunched up and other scenarios, but I think that Braver edges it out a bit, but they're both great moves. Triple Slash. Slash up to 3 enemies in quick succession, hit multiple foes to increase potency. Can use while airborne. So this is a good move, and I have it on my shortcuts because it has a good amount of hit stun. It doesn't have the same amount of hit stun as say Braver or Blade Burst, but it has more hit stun than the regular attacks, and it gets a lot of characters out of like rough scenarios. Like sometimes Cloud may slash like 3 monsters. Maybe there's 3 monsters. He'll slash all 3 of them. Maybe it's 2 of them. He slashes 2 of them, and one of them gets hit stun by the second time they get hit. Or maybe he's just attacking random things and making sure they don't do anything harmful on the field. Triple Slash is a double-edged sword in some senses because you never know where Triple Slash is going to go. Maybe you need Cloud to hit an enemy 3 times, and he hits one enemy once and then he hits other enemies all across the stage. You know, it's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. I don't think you can actually angle this. But next is Focus Thrust. I talk about how Focus Shot and other moves like this are specifically needed to be used when an enemy is pressured. You can use this for damage for Flare, of course, but the main use behind this is to get that pressure meter to stagger. Firebolt Blade. This is one of Cloud's new moves. Imbue your sword with fire and lightning while slicing a foe. Can use while airborne. So the cool thing about this is I think lightning comes first and then fire. Or I forget what it is. We'll see. But so you could actually take advantage of an enemy's weakness that's weak against like whatever the second hit is. And it can like pressure them. But I don't think you can pressure an enemy with the first hit. I could be mistaken though. But if an enemy is weak against fire or lightning, Cloud sort of automatically has you covered and you're good to go in that sense. It's 2 hits and it makes you go into the air. And it has like this magnetic effect around it where like it lifts some enemies up into the air, so you can just go ahead and attack them anyway from the air. They're not just staying on the ground. Disorder was my favorite move in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It makes a return, and on this game it's even better to a certain extent, right? So Disorder, you can use this and it feels like, as it says, delivers a devastating attack while switching modes to like Punisher or Operator in the air. Fills the ATB gauge when attack connects, so it uses ATB but also gets some back, sort of like those magic moves that don't use MP. And you can use it while airborne, and while it's airborne, it's super strong. It doesn't reach every enemy. So you need to either be juggling the enemy, or the enemy needs to be like, relatively close to you, so it works. But yeah, it only really doesn't work on like shorter enemies, I think. But when you use Disorder once and go into Punisher stance, if you're in Punisher stance and use Disorder, you launch the enemy with a double attack. It kind of reminds me of Nero from Devil May Cry. Prime mode. So Prime mode. Strength and Punisher mode, hold down attack to deliver 3 consecutive strikes. Increases berserk potency. If you don't know, Cloud, when he goes into Punisher mode, you can hold the attack button and he'll go into berserk mode, which increases his limit gauge, right? But that's when he stabs down to the ground. So in Prime mode, it switches to 3 very strong slashes that increase berserk even more. And it also changes the first 2 hits of his attack when he goes into Punisher mode. And it also makes it so when you exit Punisher mode by pressing triangle again, instead of doing a slash or a slash where you go through your opponent, he does an uppercut where he's in the air and you can angle which way you want to land. It's pretty neat. There's Infinity's End here. Infinity's End, I keep mentioning it. It uses 2 ATB. This is Cloud's by far like strongest move. It's going to do the most amount of damage, and this is why you need somebody to have stop in the party. Hell, it's why I give the time materia to Cloud, so he has enough time to get this move off, because it's going to do the most amount of damage out of everything in his moveset, no matter how slow it may be. Counter stance. Brace for attacks and retaliate. Activate at the right time to reduce damage. Can use while airborne. That's the newest thing. Counter stance can be used while airborne. I don't think you could do that on the remake. But counter stance isn't that good in this game to me. I don't know. Maybe I just need to test it out more. But it just feels like you could just... anything that you can counter with counter stance, you might as well just go into Punisher mode, because... you know, it's about the same effect. In Remake, I didn't feel that way. I felt like Counter Stance was legitimately powerful, but in this game, I don't feel anything from it. Aerial Onslaught is the last ability that Cloud learns, and he has type 2 magic, by the way, that doesn't use any MP. But anyway, yeah, Aerial Onslaught. You launch a deadly assault from above and can be used only while airborne. Makes sense. It's cool. It doesn't do as much damage as you would think, being the last move, but it's nice to look at. So it's cool for flair and cool for getting some hits done as well. But yeah, let's see here. Let's go ahead and do some example of gameplay. I want to show you something really cool. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make this Cloud, Barret, and Red. See if those ogres are around. There they are. So I'm going to use the range blade technique continuously. So you get 3 slashes, right? 1, 2, 3. Punisher stance. Then do it out of Punisher stance. Then you exit Punisher stance. So 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Punisher. Right? Then you get 1 shot out of Punisher with the range blade. Then you switch back to Operator. And there you go. That's how you do that shit. Right? And let me see, can I find another enemy quickly enough? Quickly. Alright, yeah. Don't forget, you can also switch between them. I love this. You give both characters meter by doing this, and it's super fast. You can even cancel out of it. So I'm gonna go back to Chadley's real quick. I know this is the Farmer Ranch, but I'm gonna go back to Chadley, since I showed you what it looks like when you can spam both of those range blade attacks. I'm gonna show you a little bit of combat with Cloud, and I'm doing this video a bit differently. Oh, before I do that, doing this video a bit differently. So I've pre-recorded some content, and I want to just talk over that here in a bit. But let's talk about what material I have on Cloud. HP up, like I said, it's a must-have. Precision defense, this is good because when you're in Punisher stance, when you go to Punisher stance, you get a free counter basically when someone attacks you. Because when Cloud's in Punisher stance, he gets a counter when he's holding guard or when he enters it at the right time. I have time materia and swift cast on it. Time materia, like I said, you want characters or enemies to pause, and you want to slow down their special attacks, and you want to speed his up. I have breach on him just so nobody can like take advantage of like his range attacks or his close-up attacks not working. Chakra is non-negotiable, but really all you need is chakra, HP up. I think that ATB stagger is good and synergy support is also good, but let's move on. I don't really have like a definitive thing for him. I think that chakra, if you have chakra, honestly, he ought to be good. Everything else you could like sort of figure out on your own, really. Which isn't me trying to sound like snarky, it's just me telling you the truth. All right. Let's go to regions real quick. So I showed you how to use those range techniques. Oh yeah, I gotta show you the cancels. And I'll just show you the cancels really quickly. Because Cloud, when he holds the attack button, he does this attack that's really it like vortexes the enemies in, right? When you hold the attack button down after the third ranged attack, you're in the air, so you can like get into the air really quickly and hold the attack button to zoom into the opponent. Because that's what Cloud does when he's in the air and holds the attack button. He zooms to the opponent and homes in on him and hits him. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about his sword waves. So Cloud is unique in the sense where when you dodge with him, he does these sword waves. I think it's the same amount of button presses as his regular attacks, maybe 5 buttons. Let me see. So dodge, 1, 2, 3. 1. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And the last sword wave actually does like multiple hits, right? And here's something cool. When you dodge and hit attack to do the sword wave and hold the attack button, he zips up to the opponent, right? And he's in the air at that point. And if you dodge while in the air on this game and then hit attack, he shoots a sword wave that hits multiple times, like the final sword wave when you dodge. There's a lot of mechanics that Cloud has that's pretty interesting to explain now that I'm saying it out loud, right? When he is in the air and he does that attack that zooms up to the opponents, if you press the attack button in the middle of it, he does the ending of his combo, of his air combo. So look, 1, 2, 3. And it just did 3 at the end. And I would show you counterfire, but counterfire is not going to work. I just did the counter with Punisher stance. Right? You see what that did? I'm going to see if I can get off counter stance.
Let's do this.
Okay, I was wrong. That does quite a bit of damage, but honestly, I'd rather just go ahead and attack. I don't know. Use Punisher stance. So use that like information any way you want. I don't really care to fish for counters with counter stance, and I feel like I want to keep my meter for other stuff, right? Okay, did I say everything I wanted to say? Oh, so when you're in the air, sorry, and you press Punisher stance, you do this slam down to the ground and you go into Punisher stance. Probably goes without saying, but just in case you didn't know. And another thing you might want to know, if you dodge, do a neutral dodge in the air, you go straight to the ground. What can I do? Let me see. Snow Flurry.
Calling ice. All right. You're done.
All right. Now I'm going to show you Power Cleave. So this is Power Cleave. I just did 5,000 damage, and that was a critical. But let me see how much this does. Oh, never mind. But you seen I did 5,000 damage off of that. I'm going to try and do it again, and I'm going to try and do Braver as well. I recommend using Power Cleave on enemies that are like actually in stagger, because it takes a while to activate, unfortunately. Come on, somebody attack me. Somebody. There we go. Because they can't move. Look. Bam! 6,005. Or was that 67.5? Okay, see, it's easy to miss with Power Cleave. That did 5,000. I'm sorry, 4,201. Oh, come on, man. That did 2,000. So, basically, like I said, Power Cleave, it does the most amount of damage that you're going to get. Alright, so we did that, and now I'm going to switch over to a character that can give him Spellblade. I'm trying to find something that's going to shoot at us. I guess the security officer will do. Go ahead and get Yuffie in here, and Tifa. Okay, shoot at me. But no, they shot at them. Isn't that something? Shoot at me. There, counterfire. You see that? It does a lot of damage. Now look at how far Spellblade reaches. That did a hella amount of damage. Alright. I did 3,000 damage with that. And it reaches further. I cannot think of a single reason why you want to use Power Cleave over Spellbound Blade. Or Spell Blade, whatever it's called. Watch this again. Again, this is relatively fast. They blocked it. Okay, sure. It went through them though. Now I'm gonna use Blade Burst, a magic technique. Okay, let's use Braver on this guy. That did 2,500. Let's see what happens when I use Blade Burst. Oh my gosh. Now use Blade Burst. That did 2,397. There we go. Alright. I think that's pretty much everything else I wanted to go over. I can explain everything else in the pre-recorded video that I have for you guys, so I'm going to put that up now. What's up, everybody? It's Vicious here. If the audio sounds clear, it's because I'm recording through the PC at this point. I just wanted to do something a little different from the other videos. Cloud has is a lot going on. I don't want to say he's like the most complex character. Well, like I said in the previous video, the most complex character to plan for is probably Kate Sith, then Aerith, and then Red 13, or was it Red 13 and Aerith? But I don't know, I might switch those two. But Cloud, he's like a high velocity character. I'm probably going to end up doing this for Yuffie too, because they need a lot of room to breathe and they need a lot of room to explain. So this is why Stop is really good for Cloud. I'm on Cloud's Brutal Challenge, or is it Legendary Challenge? I forget what it is. But point is, it's the hardest challenge in the game for a solo character to go through. It's like their gauntlet. And I'm just trying to show you why you want to do certain things. So I play Stop on this annoying ass monster, and I'm unaware if Counter Stance does anything against projectiles, but as you can see, I'm in Prime mode, and while I was in Prime mode, I'm going to probably do it again here. You see how you cancel prime mode with a triangle, and you can angle what direction you go in. Very useful. I didn't really know about that until like last week, but it's useful for like angling where you want to go so you don't get hit. And not only that, but it looks cool. It's good for launching. It doesn't launch enemies as big as like this wolf or whatever the hell it's called. I can't see it because of the way the screen looks, but yeah. And as you can see, another prime example of why you want to keep chakra on deck, like almost always, right? And I'm getting beat up right here, but hey, chakra, it's okay. You know, I can heal myself. And again, this is a challenge that you absolutely need to pass if you want to 100% the game, or if you want to just get Cloud's. I think he gets a book out of this manuscript, and yeah, you see how I'm moving around in the air. Air control is really important to Cloud because it gets him out of a lot of situations. Not only that, but it opens up combos and it makes it so it's less monotonous. One of the reasons why I like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth like 1,000 times more than Final Fantasy 16 is because of all the variety that you get. Because in 16 it was like based on cooldown timers, and I thought that was like super disingenuous because it's like an action game. You know what I mean? But here we have Cloud, and Cloud is, you know, he has cooldown, so to speak. He has ATB, but he can like do things to rush that, expedite that process, and things that he's doing right now. They are cool. They're like almost equivalent to what what's his name, Clive, might do. And here I forgot, or just plain flat out ignored, that I had Breach and Dispel, which I don't know why I did that. There's Aerial Onslaught. Very cool technique, not strong enough, but yeah. It didn't do any damage because this enemy right now has a shield that keeps him from being damaged by melee, I believe it was. And now they have immunity against magic, which, like I said before, the sword waves are magic, so they do magic damage, just like Blade Beam. So just be wary of that when you're fighting enemies. Punisher is your friend when you're trying to get ATB, especially if enemies are lined up in a row. And Aerial Disorder, I'm sorry. When you do Disorder in the air, and you're going to see it again. When you do Disorder in the air, you're going to get meter back, and it does a lot of damage, and you'll see that later as soon as I remember that I have Breach. Because with this enemy, if you don't have Breach, you just sort of have to wait. You know what I mean? Until Shell. Oh yeah. You just sort of have to wait until they do this. You know what I mean? See, the thing with this enemy is they get pressured when they're in concentration mode, and they get hit with a special move like 3 times. So I hit them with Disorder 3 times because it kept giving me meter, right? And I'm going to go back, and I'm going to, like, you know, use Chakra just to make sure I'm out of the danger zone. Go ahead and use a limit break because I have an item on me that allows me to... I use ATV. I didn't realize there was a limit to how long I could speak on this app. But anyway. Yeah, so here's Aerial Onslaught. This is why I say Aerial Onslaught's not that great, but it is pretty. Like, I like looking at it. But in like practical applications, like trying to pressure or stagger an enemy, sometimes it doesn't like do its job, but other times it does. Like, I don't know which enemies it's gonna do it for necessarily all the time. But here we go. I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible. Holding down the attack button when you're in prime mode is great because you get this slash that hits you 3 times, and it increases your berserk, and it's super strong, so it has a purpose. And I'm trying to... Please use Breach. Okay, good. Yeah. Go ahead and take that shield off so you can attack like normal. And... hell. Yeah, just keep dodging that Fire Raga. But yeah, you want to be almost in constant attack mode with this guy, and you want to defend. Obviously, you want to defend. You don't want to be like how I am right here. Obviously, I'm out of practice fighting this thing, but you just want to attack. You want to guard mindfully, and it's hard to pay attention to the other characters on the field when you're like so concentrated on this one character, but I think that it's worth it with the payoff since Cloud is a good DPS character. He has wide range of attacks. He has attack spells that cost no MP that hit multiple enemies, and they augment his playstyle, like using wind current to bring smaller enemies to him, or medium-sized enemies to him while he's in the air is pretty fun. It's cool. Again, reminds me a bit of Clive from Final Fantasy 16, where he uses Garuda's leg to bring them towards him. Except, he can't use it as much as Garuda's leg, but in this game, for as much combo ability as you have with the other characters, like, it gives him like more options. I feel like yeah, bring them to me, and then I'll have Barrett do X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? I'm gonna cast haste on myself so I get meter quicker because that's the name of the game here. Beat him up in the air. Use disorder twice actually, and I still have meter. And then I'm gonna go to prime mode. Got the way. Also, you can, I don't know if I put this in a video earlier, but you can cancel Cloud being in the air early on. Like, if you do a sword wave in the air, you can cancel it. Or if you do the exit into prime mode into the air, you can cancel it and still be in the air. It's really good stuff.
Let's do this.
Look at him go.
It's on now.
Triple slash. Super fast, decent amount of hit stun. Unpredictable in large groups, but you gotta love it. Infinity's in. And then... I didn't have enough time to stop him. But, might want to slow him down anyway, because it's a dangerous enemy. This is why time is like a precious materia, because you can slow down. And I have noticed, actually, I used to say I don't really notice a difference, but now I notice a difference because they can do the regular attacks, but the attacks that actually have a name, they can't do them as fast. So like, those are the most dangerous attacks, so I'm like the most concerned with them.
No holding back. Get ready.
I just love doing that uppercut.
Enough. Let's do this.
Look, 431 damage was the last damage that you got from that, right? But you can pretty much do like equivalent damage with like a regular combo. Or hell, you do more by doing disorder. That's why I don't really... Like, maybe it's because you hit multiple times. I haven't really counted all the hits. But, I don't know. I feel like you get more damage doing a disorder in the air. And then you get meter too. So, like, it's a good thing. God damn it. You see how I shot some lightning? And it said weakness is because I have the lightning and wind material equipped. And I have that... that lightning MP skill, folio skill, and yeah, it shot a little bit of lightning for a brief second, and if you blinked, you missed it, but it hit it. Hold on one moment. And this is the final round here. Now, this thing used to actually intimidate me, but like not so much anymore. I found out that Gravaga is dodgeable, and like one of its moves that does a super high amount of damage is also really dodgeable. Let me see, what do I do here? Blade Burst, yeah, because it's a far-reaching magic attack that does a lot of damage. That did 1,000 damage. How much is Braver going to do against this guy? I need to be testing that on every enemy just to see what their resistance looks like. Counter stance. One of the few times where it could be useful. Look at that. 1,181 points. But you see how much I got with Blade Burst. I didn't have to wait for nothing. Like, I feel like you get more damage. Ooh, see? That's one of those devastating attacks. Let's go ahead and use Chakra, because we need Chakra, and it's not going to use any magic. Gotta love that. Now, An appropriate thing to do, I didn't dodge it properly. The appropriate thing to do at this point probably would be to use a stop spell and then like continuously pressure this beast. But you know, you're doing damage. You see, look how useful that was. I got away. Chakra again. Go ahead and go to focus attack, not focus attack. Punisher. Combo in the air. You miss me. Go ahead and hit that counter stance up. Immune. Bam! 2,000 that time. I think it's because I did the precision one. Yeah, get this motherfucker angry and keep hitting him. Like hell of a lot of health this thing has, but it's okay. Look at that, bam. That's because I have that precision guard materia. Ooh, that hurt a bit, but that's okay. Cloud does have reprieve after all. Get away. Make sure not to get killed by that little smash, because that attack actually is 360 degrees. Go ahead, get him out of here. Bam. I know that hurt. But that's that devastating attack that'll kill you. I hate that shit. I don't think so. Counter stance. Bam. I wish you could use counter fire like by yourself. Yup, he's getting angry again. I don't remember if I kill him in one stagger. It's possible though. I've done it before, but again, not that much in practice. It's to the point where you just gotta get away because I dodged incorrectly, and that's all on me. Yep, stop. Well, bravery. Make yourself stronger. Okay. Now stop. Go ahead and use aerial onslaught. Why not? Bam. Now that was useful. Maybe I'll take it back about aerial onslaught. Maybe I'll make that a note. Go ahead and do the super. Or I'm sorry, the limit break. 9,999. Go ahead and stop again, just for shits and giggles. Hopefully I can get infinities in. Nah, we're gonna do braver. And we're gonna do disorder again because disorder is super powerful. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it was insightful. If you want me to do more videos, just let me know. I don't know who I'm gonna do next.